A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, June 16. With Barbados facing record unemployment levels, Prime Minister Mia Mottley stood in strong defense of the Barbados Optional Savings Scheme, insisting it will revive the economy hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The boss is designed to redirect almost $100 million to capital works projects to create jobs for thousands and to help maintain employment levels in the public sector. Mottley was speaking today during debate on the Barbados Optional Savings Scheme bill in Parliament, which paves the way for the bonds to be issued next month.
We recognize that an unemployment rate that goes from just over 9.5% where it last was at the end of last year to what we suspect, and we don't have the number figures, but based on our rough calculations, we anticipate that just under 20% of the workforce would have lost their jobs based on the NIS claims that we've seen. But we will wait the official unemployment figures. But we would not be surprised if we are on or about a level of unemployment of 30%. Unheard of in the modern history of the last few decades.
The Prime Minister is expecting what she describes as a reasonable uptake on the bonds. In fact, the island's main unions and the credit union movement have already signaled their support for the scheme. She again stressed that BOSS is not a pay cut amid suggestions from opposition parties.
It is not a pay cut. But for the avoidance of doubt, we say that this legislation is not constrained by any other piece of legislation on the laws of Barbados. It is also being passed consistent with Section 49 of the Constitution for the avoidance of doubt. Because while we are here doing this, we are conscious that there may still be some who may want to question or dispute. And we are making it clear that the people of this nation through this Parliament have determined that they want to work together as each other's brother and each other's sister in solidarity to allow us to get to the point next year with our heads above water.
But opposition leader Reverend Joseph Atherley would not be convinced. In his contribution, he insisted that public servants were being subjected to a pay cut and workers would lose out in the long run.
By any other name, a cut is still a cut. We say we're not cutting people's salaries. We are not cutting people's salaries. So in 4 years' time, they will get 5% interest on their investment. No reference to the change in value of money over time. Mr. Speaker, your dollar that you earn today will have the same purchasing power 4 years from now. You don't lose. You don't lose. You don't lose because the dollar has the same purchasing capacity 4 years down the road. So you're not losing. The inflation rate in Barbados today, Mr. Speaker, is over 4%, I think, and likely to trend up in the next few years. So what you earn today becomes subject to inflationary pressures down the road. No change, you earn the dollar today, it gets you the same distance tomorrow. A cut is still a cut.
In other news this Tuesday, 4 men charged with the June 4 murder of Anthony Lane of Leadville Christchurch were today remanded to Dodds when they appeared in the District B Magistrate Court. O'Shea Greenidge of Ruby St. Philip, Jason Lane of Leadville Christchurch, Ade Blackman of Riverland St. Philip, and Sean Crookendale of Skeets Road St. Michael were not required to plead to the charge. Magistrate Alison Burke ordered the accused to reappear in court on July 14. There are no new COVID-19 cases in Barbados. The Best of Santos Public Health Laboratory conducted 228 tests yesterday, 160 of them at the request of cruise ships anchored off the island. They were all negative for the viral illness. There are currently 97 COVID-19 cases, 7 people remain in isolation, 83 have recovered, and 7 have died. Total tests conducted by the Public Health Laboratory stands at 6,960.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, today instructed the chief elections officer to use the results for the national vote recount to declare the winner of the March 2 regional and general elections. It effectively clears the way for the People's Progressive Party's presidential candidate, Irfan Ali, to be sworn in as the next president. GCOM Commissioner Sasya Gunaraj spoke to the media after the decision of the GCOM chair.
At 3:30 this afternoon, the chairman ruled and in effect voted on the proposed three things, three findings she came to. One, that the Guyana Elections Commission has no power or authority to deal with the issues of investigation or pronouncing upon those issues that were raised under the rubric of anomalies in relation to the elections. Two, that any such investigation or any such inquiry has to be done by the High Court, which has exclusive jurisdiction to do so pursuant to Article 163 of the Constitution. And as a consequence, she has ordered the Chief Election Officer to prepare a report. She has ordered him pursuant to Article 177 of the Constitution. She has ordered him to prepare a report pursuant to Section 96 of the Representation of the People's Act for the purposes of declaration of the results of the elections.
On the international scene, a cheap and widely used steroid has become the first drug shown to be able to save the lives of COVID-19 patients. Dexamethasone is available from any pharmacy and easily obtainable anywhere in the world. Professors Peter Harvey and Martin Lanray, two of the chief investigators of the trial at Oxford University, say it's a major breakthrough.
It's an old drug. Some people would say it's a very boring drug. It's been around for 60 odd years. It's very cheap. It costs pounds, and overseas it costs pennies. And so we closed that arm of the trial on Monday, the 8th of June, because we had enrolled more than 2,000 patients on dexamethasone, and we compared them to 4,000 patients who had standard of care. And what we saw was really quite remarkable.
It reduces the death for those who are in hospital who require oxygen or in ICU and require oxygen. And it's a very important effect. But, as Peter said, it's roughly 1 in 8 who survive as a result of this. A very important effect, but certainly not an effect size that would say, well, therefore you don't need to worry about the other measures to try and reduce the spread of this infection.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.